You don't watch Family Guy?
No.
Why? You're too good for it?
Yes. Okay, so domain.
When you make a better show, let me know.
There's plenty of better shows.
Yeah, but you have to make it.
Oh, I didn't say I made it.
No, I did.
Okay, all right.
What's a better show?
Okay, so domain, the term domain is all possible X values. Yes, we are doing this now. Okay, hopefully you printed 2 of them. Okay, hurry back, we're taking notes. Range, all possible Y values. Do you, Mr. Moore?
Thank you for the offer.
All possible X values, all possible Y values.
If it were me, I would start playing. I would have.
Now don't get, some of you like to work ahead of me. I'm going to be asking other questions as we go through that are not listed here. I want to make sure that you're not getting too far ahead of me as we go through. What are all the possible X values that you see? There's only 5 coordinates, so there's not going to be a whole lot of numbers here. Do you see any possible X values? 0. Yeah, I did see 0 right there. Yep. Oops, sorry. Let's use a red since I'm talking about X values. So 0. What else do we see? You see 4. We see 8. We see 4. Anything else? Any other possible X values? Or is that it? That's it. Now, for those OCD amongst us, if it's bothering you that they're not in increasing order, you can switch them around. It doesn't matter to me. There's nothing saying you have to have them in increasing order, but if that makes you feel more comfortable, then do it. All right, what's the range? What are the possible Y values? Hopefully you see -2. What else? 1. All right, yep. 2, sure. 8, yep. We do see all of those. Now, is it going to hurt your grade? Is the red pen of death going to come out and get you if you write them down multiple times? For instance, I see 2 X values of 8. If you write down 2 8s, is that going to hurt you? Based on the definition of writing down the possible X's, is it going to hurt you if you wrote it down twice? No, it's not going to hurt your grade whatsoever. The red pen of death would snicker behind your back, but no, it's not going to cost you any points. I would not duplicate them if I were at a party. That's a good way to get kicked out. Okay, but you definitely are not going to lose points if you do that. All right, the next thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but I do want to talk about, is what's called a mapping diagram. Oops, got to lock it in place. A mapping diagram. What? Okay, so a mapping diagram lists out the values in the domain and range. Okay, so you had, let's see here, 0, 8, and 4, and you had -2, 1, 2, and 8. So domain on the left, range on the right. X's, Y's, that kind of thing. A mapping diagram draws an arrow from each X value to each Y value that it goes with. For instance, right here, I see the point 0, -2. So 0 would have an arrow going to -2. That right there indicates that 0, -2 is in this group of points. Can you describe any more arrows that I should be drawing? How about for this one right over here? Where should it start out on the left? Where should it end up on the right? 4 to -2. All right, draw the other 3. Draw the other 3 arrows. Connect up the coordinates based on what you see. The x value goes to the y value. All right, Mr. Glancy, give me another one. 8 goes to what? 8 goes to 1. All right. Yes, that's true. 8 goes to 1. Miss Krieger, give me another one. 4 goes to 2. Okay. And there's one more, Mr. Adams. We got these 4. We need one more arrow. Passing. Okay. So, Miss Pfeiffer. What's the last one? 8 to 8, right? That's the last one, so 8 goes to 8. That's a mapping diagram. It gets a little ugly. It's not my favorite way to show you that information. Okay, the next thing that we need to talk about is a function. Please make sure when you write the word function that you don't forget the first N. Okay, comes out really wrong, man. You don't want it. Okay, so, yeah, misspelled words. Whoo, man. All right, so. That was funny. The definition for function is each x value has exactly one y value. Don't keep talking about it. I mean, even technically I could say no more than, but I don't. You know what? I'm not going to even write that down because I don't want to confuse you. But the truth is we should say no more than one y value. When you were in junior high, maybe pre-algebra, algebra 1, okay, look. Back in those days, they said something, they used a phrase, which I never want to hear. Don't you dare call it that. How unprofessional.
I've never even heard about it.
Okay. The correct term is the vertical line test. The vertical line test. Okay. All right. Now it's true that when we were teaching you this a long time ago, we would hold up a pen or pencil and we would say, pass a vertical line through the graph. If it touches one point at a time, we say that it passes the vertical line test, therefore it is a function. If it hits 2 points at the same time, it fails the vertical line test and it's not a function. But we call it the vertical line test. Now, I will allow you to abbreviate, right? The vertical line test can be abbreviated
VLT. Okay? Not to be confused with vegetable lettuce tomato sandwich. Okay? Although somebody, first period, didn't like the choice of vegetable, they chose vinegar. I thought, sick. And then some kid said vodka, and I said, no. We're definitely not doing that. Okay? What kind of sandwich would that be? Seriously. Okay? Anyway, so in order to do this, you really need to look at a graph. So I would suggest to you, when you get to these kind of questions, that you make a quick little graph. It does not have to be anything spectacular, folks. You know, I'm estimating 7, -4, okay? You know, I'm not sitting there counting and drawing out hash marks. You know? Now, I might do a couple hash marks to make myself approximate, okay, there's 6 and -4 and 5 and -4 and 4 and -4 and 3 and -4. Then I need to ask myself this question: does it pass the vertical line test? If you pass a vertical line through this graph, is it going to hit only one point at a time? Okay, so we say that this passes the vertical line test, so it is a function. You wanted to text that information to a neighbor. Okay, that's interesting. All right, now, so that's a big yes. Question 3. Every year, a music hall of fame inducts legendary musicians and musical acts into its hall of fame. Said hall of fame twice there. That's kind of interesting. The table shows the number of inductees for each year. Complete A through C below. What I think is interesting, you see the chart up there with 2001, and there were 12 inductees in 2002 and 8. Notice right here what it says. Let 1 represent the year 2001. Let 2 represent 2002, and so forth. Okay, so here's a question for you. Fill out the domain. Fill out the domain, and then eventually also go find me the range. Okay, wow, that was a bad looking brace. Sorry, I can do better. Yeah, that was better. Oh. Whoa. How about the range? Well, 12's in the range, isn't it? What else? 9, 8, 4, 7. Is that it? Yes. Okay. Is there any way you could have found that information by looking at the answer choices, A, B, and C? Oh, yeah, it's listed right there for you. Domain on the left, range on the right. Now, which one of those goes with this information? I got to vote for B. Can you tell me why A is not a good answer? Can you give me one example why A is not a good answer? 6 goes to 12, and according to this, 6 does not go to 12. It goes to 4. So that is a good reason to get rid of that one. Give me a reason to get rid of C. 2 goes to 7, and 2 is supposed to go to 8. That is a good reason to get rid of that choice right there. Everything okay? Yeah, all right.
I'm just finding out now.
Okay, well, focus. Okay. Which one of those letter choices down there is the ordered pairs written out? Where is 1 supposed to go? 1 goes with what? So it doesn't go with 4, therefore you really didn't have to go very far before you figured out it was letter A. Those are dumb multiple choice answers, man. Come on, give them something that at least tries to trick them.
Wait, did you make it?
I just got it in MXL. Which one of those graphs represents it? How do you know A? Right there, 112. That is pathetic, man. They didn't even make it a challenge. Seriously. What are these people thinking? So it is letter A. Okay, we're going to skip 4 for now. I want you to answer question 5. You should be able to do this on your own. I would suggest you draw a picture of a graph. Okay? Hate's a strong word there. Okay, so 3 went with 16, so I'm going to estimate 3 there and 16 here. Right? 3 goes with 16. 4 also goes with 16, so that's 4 and 16. 7 goes with -5. Okay, so that's a 7 and a -5. Yeah.
Next time, if you want to do this, can you make your graph? Because my graph is horrible.
Okay. Maybe. 7 does go to 21, so it's got a 21 up here. 9 goes to -3. 9 and -3. Is this a function? No. What does that mean? Okay. What causes it to fail? The 7. Right there, folks. You've got 2 points in the same vertical line. 7, -5. Now, if you're paying attention, you might have been able to tell that because over here, you had 2 arrows that were coming out of the 7, going to 2 different y values. That was a giveaway that we had a problem. Although it gets kind of messy when you're talking about the mapping diagram, so it's kind of easier to see it when it's on a picture. Definitely fails the vertical line test. What about this one? Is this a function? Does it pass the vertical line test?
Yes.
That's a definite pass. Yes. Passes vertical line test. Question? Now, on question 7, this notation on the left, it's called Euler's function notation because there's a guy named Euler who figured it out or found it or wrote it this way. F of x is a fancy way to say y.
What?
So this is the same thing you've always seen, y equals mx plus b. Now, what I'm about to write down, how much time do I have?
0 to 8.
All right, good. What I'm about to write down in red, I do not want any of you to write down. I do want you to pay attention to it, though. Suppose I want to make up a game. You get one choice. You get to pick one of those 3 equations. I am going to pick a number for x and plug it in and calculate the value. But I'm not going to tell you which one that I'm going to choose. If you choose the correct equation that I chose, and you accurately plug in the number, let's say we're going to plug in 10. But if you accurately guess the one that I pick, and you can plug it in and find the correct y value,
I give you an A for the semester, no tests, no quizzes, and nothing for the rest of the semester. You're done. Okay? If you pick the wrong equation, or you pick the right equation, but you can't plug in the number 10 accurately, you lose, you fail, you come back next year. And I do mean next year. You can get my drift. Do you think this is a fair game?
Yeah.
Okay, so the people saying yes are the real gamblers in the room here, folks. All right?
It's not a fair game. You have no idea which one of those equations I'm talking about.
Pick one, can I guess?
Okay, now,
Please?
if I named the functions, and changed the question, would you know which equation that I chose? Sure, because we have a name to it. Okay, now the game is fair. Okay, it's stupid on my part, but it's fair. Okay, it's fair to you anyway. This is why we have function notation, is so that we can separate different equations. I know that some of you would say, well, why do we have to look at this weird notation? Well, it's just so that we can separate different. So right here, this is an x value of 4. And they're asking me to find f of 4. So they're asking me for the y value that goes with this x value. So figure it out. Right? Because you're being asked to plug it in there. Remember, you're trying to use this stuff. Who's gonna tell you? Really? It's been my goal my entire life. 72 plus 13 is how much? 85. That's true. Okay, so here's a question not on that sheet. What ordered pair did we just find? What's the ordered pair we just found? What is the ordered pair we just found? 4, 85. That's true. Thank you very much. 4 was the x value. 85 was the y value. Yep. No. Okay, that is an excellent question that I get every single year. All right? Now, don't write this down. Just watch it. Some kids want to do this. Okay? That is not what we're getting at. This is not like a variable where we say 4 times f. They're saying that, so that's a difference, and I definitely need everybody to realize that is not what we're dealing with here. Okay? When they're asking me for f of 4, I literally am going to take that 4, plug it in for x, solve it out, and be done. Y is by itself over here. This is one y over here by itself. That's it. So there's no need for division like you're describing. But I'm really glad you asked that question because, interestingly enough, 2 other classes haven't asked that question, which means I'm going to have to go back and tell them that because I guarantee you there's going to be people in there who didn't listen and they will do that. So, thank you. All right, Recycled CDs Incorporated offers a choice of 5 used CDs for $26, with each additional CD costing $5 more. write a cost function for purchasing 5 or more CDs. So they used C of X instead of F of X, C for cost. What do you think it is? How am I going to figure out the cost? Well, $5 for every CD, plus what? How much? The original 5 CDs cost me how much? 26. Okay? Now, you need to be extremely careful how you answer the next question. The total cost for 13 CDs. Total cost for 13 CDs. Figure it. The most common wrong answer is $91. The most common wrong answer is $91. Now, if you read through this again, look at what it says. The first 5 CDs you get for 26 bucks. Every CD after that is $5. So, what should we have plugged in for X? 8. Now, what I am concerned about you taking notes on this, please make sure if you don't understand why that's an 8, write yourself a note in your notes. That's what good note-taking means. Explain why that came about. That I had to take the 13 minus 5 because this is from the originals. That's the original group to give me that value 8. So then I could come over here and put 5 times 8 plus 26 and get the actual amount, which was what? $66 is the actual amount before taxes. Okay? And yes, we will take this up tomorrow and continue.